Only on Christ 17 TV, back upside your head with another one. Today I got a old school subject that with the weed getting so strong nowadays, and it's just like it's getting stronger and stronger by the minute, right? You know, we used to have this thing. It's called Bammer weed, brick weed, Mexican weed, sesamilia. So when I was growing up, and when I started to first, know what weed was, my mom used to smoke joints, right? Way back when I was young. And I remember weed always used to have seeds in it. And I remember everybody used to break down the weed. I was probably about 7, 8, 9, and I mean probably younger. But I remember weed had seeds. I mean, weed had seeds. Like, it was called Bammer weed, stress, whatever. So the older I got and I started to smoke weed, if you didn't take your seeds out of your weed and you blew your L, you hear a pop and it starts smoking and it would stink like a motherfucker. Nowadays we don't have no no seeds in weed. It feels like it's hard. But growing up smoking on what you thought was good ass weed then was Bama weed. And I remember when I was about, I want to say probably about 12, 13, when I started like smoking weed, we used to have to break down the weed, take out the seeds. There used to be this one kid, Who Dog, in the Bronx. Every time he rolled fucking weed, he would never take out the seeds. He just put the weed here, break up the weed, roll the shit up, and you hear him popping and smoking through the whole blunt. It'd be the worst blunt ever because you tasting seeds on every other hit. So the older I got, when I came to California, it was the first time like I smoked some like different shit. It was like straight from fucking Mexico, like brick weed. I've never seen it in like you. We used to get a whole zip for like $40, and sometimes your whole ounce of weed would come in one piece, and you could peel it. You could peel it, right? Peel it. And I remember me and my boy way back then, Rick. I knew him and his Rashawn, and Sean always smoking joints. So we used to smoke the joint, but I used to trip on how he'd have to peel it and then break it up, take out the seeds. But I never seen weed in New York like when I seen it out here in one piece in like a half ounce or like a zip. It'd be in one piece and you have to peel it and break it up. It'd be hard as hell. You'd even have to cut the shit. Scissors. But those were some crazy days. I remember riding my bike in Cali, going all the way to the other side of town with $25 to get a half ounce. And sometimes you would even get some weed, which I've had some weed that smelled like straight gasoline. And I fucking like, yo, why does shit smell like gas? He said, well, that's how they had to smuggle it. Through the gas. I'm like, I mean, it'd be so fucking gassy that you really couldn't even smoke the weed because it would give you a fucking headache. But I remember seeds in the weed, brick weed, Bammer weed, and then I remember me and my boy Stick. We used to be at my grandma's house, and we have like a QP of that shit for like $120 or like $100, some shit like that. And we get 4 ounces, and it'd be like in 3 big ass fucking like brick like things. Like 3 buds, big ass buds was like a whole ounce. And you would have to peel that bitch and peel it. And we get the shoebox and we breaking the shit up, taking out the seeds. I mean, we be at grandma's table, we be outside, we'd have to have something to roll up on. But I remember a time where that we took a whole fucking, I want to say a zip or maybe more than that, and we rolled up like 20 White Owls. 20 White Owls at Grandma's house. And check this out. We smoked all the motherfuckers all night long on Grandma's porch from like 9 to probably like 2, 3 in the morning. Have more, woke up, had some blunts left, blew them shits down. And it was like nowadays, you can't smoke 20 blunts of the weed they have now. You be on your fucking ass. But I remember when I first got some bomb. But I'm going to save that for a whole different story. That changed my life. Smoking bomb. But the Bammer, I used to go all the way across town on my bike. Get it from my boy. Older dude. Mexican dude. Good folks. Motherfucker used to always have some different ass shit. But sometimes he had that gassy shit. And I couldn't fuck with that shit. It smelled like if you open up a gas can and smelt it, that's how the weed would smell. It wasn't on the weed, but the scent was so strong from gas, from it being inside the gas tank, it would just smell like that. And I'm telling you, it was a fucked up smell. But that's how we grew up, on Bammer weed, shit with seeds in it. We used to call that shit stress. In Tracy, stress. In the Bay, Bammer weed. You know what I'm saying? They used to call that shit Mexican weed. Stress, Bammer, brick, whatever. But there was nothing like fucking smoking a joint or a blunt of some shit you would have to take out maybe about 10 C's to roll you an L. And everybody smoked. That was back on fucking Court Block. I used to fucking smoke a joint with the old fucking G's, with Daryl, with Don, R.I.P. to Pops, of my boy Duck, his dad Don, R.I.P. With Shawnee G, with everybody. It was like a different thing. Back then, everybody smoked weed. Everybody had zigzags, ready to roll up a joint. You go upstairs to fucking Daryl house, he would have seeds from the fucking early 80s still. Packs of fucking seeds that he just saved from shit that you probably couldn't even get now. And it's nuts when you know somebody who had thousands of fucking seeds from just breaking down weed and saving the seeds. It's crazy, but that's how the shit was. Bammer weed, stress, Mexican weed. These kids are so lucky now. They are so lucky now. Lucky as hell to have this good ass weed, wax, dab, shatter. We had cold water hash, and if we found some hash, that was like, oh shit, how'd you get some hash? I got the hookup. Somebody had some hash, and I got as much as I can. But I remember, man, your fingers would hurt from having to break down the weed if you didn't have no scissors. This weed was brick weed, like hard. You'd have to peel it, and then break it down. And if it was that bad, you'd have to clip it. Nobody could roll a joint like my mom or my bro Stick. That motherfucker Stick, I don't know how that motherfucker would fit all that weed in that joint, just roll it. Here, I'm like, bro, this shit like a machine. How you roll your shit like a machine, man? He laughed because I couldn't roll a joint for shit, but I'll roll the shit out of a blunt for you. Give me a White Owl. Give me a Philly. I'm going to show you how to roll a L. And the craziest thing, right, is when I came out here, right, I think it was the summer of 94. I've never heard of an eighth. In New York, buying nickels, dimes, or 20s. Or tray bags. In school, they were selling tray bags. $3 bags. You can get 2 of them for $5, right? I never heard of an eighth, so I come out here, and my boy, Shawnee G, like, I got eighths, what he said, for 15 or for, 10 or 15. And I'm like, the fuck is an eighth? It's basically 3.5 grams, okay? But when I was growing up in New York, nobody sold eighths. I didn't know what an eighth was until I was like, what was I, about 15. I didn't know what a fucking I didn't know what a fucking eighth was. Came out here, had the summertime, see my grandma. He like, yeah. Hey, Joe, here, smoke this. I'm like, what? Oh, man. Hit this motherfucking joint. Shit was good. I was high as hell. And he's like, I got eighths. $10. And I'm like, what the fuck's an eighth? Just say you got dime bags. It make it easier for my mind. Because I didn't know what the fuck an eighth fucking was. A weed, I had no clue. I learned something new. So now, I got eighths too. Way back then in 94 and 95. But I mean, it was just crazy just to like know way back then till now, you can buy fucking a pound, or you can roll up a pound of weed in however long it takes, and maybe you might find one seed in a whole pound. And I'm talking about when I was younger, from a half ounce, we have about 50 seeds. You would break one bud, and you might have 12 seeds fall out of a dime bag. And I'm not even bullshitting you. Nowhere near bullshitting you. These were the times. These were the struggle times. These when you could get a 40 for like $1.09. Yo fucking Newports were $1.60, $2. A hot link sandwich was $1.25 to $1.50. I mean, those were the good old days. But these kids don't know the struggle of having to get some Bama weed and break that shit down and have to take out all the fucking seeds. We didn't have backwoods. Nobody was smoking backwoods then. Motherfuckers was on swishers. But me, I would go all the way to where would I go? To Walgreens, and get me a box of Dutches. I get a box, 5-pack. I go in there every time, get me about 2 packs, and keep them shits on deck till I made the local stores. I would bring them the box, and they were like, we can't find it till they finally found it, and then they would carry it, so I wouldn't have to go all the way to Walgreens to get my cigars. But I'm telling you, the struggle was real. And then you would get some shit that might even be some green stress. And when you got some green stress, you thought you hit the fucking lottery. You be like, smell this. You break it up, it still got 20 seeds coming out of it. So it's still bam. It still smoked. It smoked a little better. Had a different little taste, but it was still stress. And these were the days that we had growing up when I was a young kid. Late fucking 80s, early 90s, mid 90s. Smoking Bama weed was a thing for us. I mean, you would come up on $25, you get you a whole half ounce, that little half gonna last you last me probably like 2 days. Me, stick, forget about it. Me and him was like this. You couldn't even separate us in 95. He got a half, I got a half, and we go to Granny's house. And we just start rolling, playing music. We got a Wu-Tang or Mobb Deep. I mean, we had it all, man. We had mixtapes. I mean, the shit was fire. Times was different. And on some real shit, I would love just to have some Bama weed, like some brick weed, just so I could show my son and show my nephews and smoke this shit. Because it was a whole different high. Don't get it fucked up. You would get fucked up, but it'd be a different high. A Bama high was different. You know what I'm saying? It was way different, and it always reminds me of a kid when my mom would smoke a fucking joint, and my first time, like, you smell weed? You like, what's that weed? And she used to say, it's a cigarette. No, it's not a fucking cigarette, mama. I'm 6. I know what a cigarette smell like. That smelled like something else. But then I always knew what it was after I would smell that. But then I would smell the incense fucking burning. And then I'm like, oh, okay. You don't burn the incense when you're smoking your cool cigarettes. But you burn your incense when you're smoking this cigarette with no filter, which was really some weed. So at a young age, I caught on quick. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it was the good old days, man. And Stick, when you see this, leave in the comment how many blunts we used to smoke a night on Granny's porch of Bama weed, and how many Dutches and White Owls would we go through in a fucking week. It was insane, bro. And those were the good old days. These kids don't know how good they got it. They ain't got to take a seed out. They really ain't got to break no weed. They got grinders and all kind of shit. We even had hand scales. These motherfuckers got digital scales. We had hand scales. I wish I could find a hand scale just to show you what it looked like. It was crazy. So I just wanted to go back, tell some shit of my childhood on what I remember about some Bama weed. And if y'all know about any Bama weed and y'all my age or even older or a little bit younger, leave it in the comments your favorite memory of back then smoking some Bama, some Stress, some Mexican weed, whatever you called it way back then. Or in the Bronx, some Buddha. You got that Buddha? Yeah. So my first blunt ever smoked was with this guy from Taylor Ave. Well, not from there, but it was on Taylor Ave in front of my boy Fresh, front steps of the building, Mike Buddha. He passed me some chocolate or some shit like that, and that shit had my eyes bloodshot red. I was scared to even go home for like an hour or two. It was crazy. But those were the days, man. And even the chocolate had seeds. So anywhere you turn back then, good weed, bad weed, whatever kind of weed, gas weed, the shit had seeds. And don't give me no Bama weed. You feel me? So everybody, with that being said, I just wanted to give a little history lesson, a little old school talk about the cess, the Stress, the Bama weed, the Buddha, the chocolate, whatever you want to call it, brick weed, cess. We had it all, man, and those days were one of my favorite days growing up because that's when I first really got it into like really smoking heavy. When I came and me and my boy Stick used to get the Bama, and we used to get a zip each or a half each, and then we really went up to a QP, and then we really started smoking. We started rolling fat ass Philly Titans, all kind of shit. But with that being said, man, I'ma get up out of here. I just wanted y'all to know I didn't forget about the days. I don't forget where I come from and how this shit all came about me smoking tree. So with that being said, hit that like, hit that subscribe. It won't cost you a dime, and it sure won't cost you nothing if you just push that button. You feel me? So with that being said, like I tell you every time around this time, you'll know about no Bama weed, man. No Stress. Shit with seeds. I mean, your hands will be so sore from just trying to break up probably 2 grams because it was so fucking heavy. 2 grams would look like nothing. But you drop that shit on the hand scales, damn near an eighth. So, with that being said, everybody, don't give me no Bama weed. I don't want no seeds. And I will catch you on the flip side. Christ 17 TV with a throwback for your ass, man. Do you remember them days? Let me know it down here in the comments, man. This Christ 17, man. Thank you for watching, man. God bless.